Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mount Evan and Terry's Moon, Flight boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties of motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about the clash of the motherfucking earth signs. Yeah, that's right. This is Virgo versus Capricorn versus Taurus. Now, all y'all motherfuckers ain't the same. All y'all different. So, there's a misconception out here that everybody think that just because someone is a conjunction, same sign or the same element, that y'all motherfuckers is automatically on agreeable terms. And that's never the case. There's no two snowflakes the same, there's no two grass stems the same, and there's no two fucking signs the same. So we're gonna break this down. Now the only thing that y'all agree on, and it's really not an agreeable nature, is just that y'all all see the perception, or y'all all understand the perception of Earth, which is being practical and thinking, and that's ultimately common sense and understanding time, structure, and shape and form. So y'all all kind of see the same thing, but y'all all see it on different terms. So this is where y'all motherfuckers may clash at. And so we're gonna get into it. So the only thing that y'all share is that when y'all around each other, it just may, keyword, may create circumstances of people, places, and things being able to be tolerable. So y'all may be a conjunction, same sign or same element, but that just creating the possibility of a person being tolerable. So you still may hate this person guts, but the same element may just make it tolerable. But that's beside the case. You still may not be able to tolerate this person. So let's get it down. How every motherfucking sign is different. Now, as far as the earth, we're going to start it off with let's start it off with Virgo. Now, Virgo is mutable earth, being mutable and being able to adapt to its own or other people's ways of thinking, and being practical, which ultimately is common sense. So for the most part, Virgos feel more comfortable with seeing how other people think, seeing how other people make things work, seeing how other people have things working for them, seeing how other people come to a broad conclusion. See, the mutable signs is the transformation. It's the mutable. All mutable signs come to broad conclusions. Cardinal signs initiate. They like the spark. Fixed signs is like the shape and form of the element before the transformation, and mutable is the transformation. So you know, a lot of times Virgos like to see how things work, see how before actually going about it. So a lot of times they like to schedule, set plans, see the structure of something before actually going to abide by it. So anytime they see somebody else just jumping without even planning or scheduling, it can make the Virgo look at this person like, man, this person is being careless, or this person chaotic, or this person too spontaneous, or and it can make the Virgo worry, make the Virgo feel like they probably need to help this person or run for dear life. So and feel kind of nervous and feel like this person is not grounding themselves. So when we get to the clashing, you know, Virgos like to look at the details. They like to see if, okay, let's look at the details. If this happened this time, let me see if it happened this way this time. The next time, if it don't happen the same way the next time, this is unreliable. This is something that I can't use as a crutch. So let me create a circumstance that I could perfect how it was done the first time, so we don't have to experience that change the second time. See, Virgos get into that whole type of thing, and when they can't actually express that, they become nervous. They can get nervous, and if they're around other people that's creating circumstance for them to make them have to worry about this type of shit, they can become very negative. You know what I'm saying? They can fucking kill you or become nerve-wracking on you. So now, when it becomes to a Taurus, this is how y'all can clash. Now, this is the same way with the difference between the air sign, the left brain signs and the right brain signs. The right brain signs is the fire and the water. Fire is the yang of the right brain. Water is the yin of the right brain. Now, on the left side, air is the yang of the right brain. Earth is the yin of the right brain. So the right brain overall represents external, which you could consciously see, the shapes and forms that you could see. So since Earth is the yin, Earth like to go within and like to make sense out of everything that they see outside of themselves. So before communicating it and just throwing out ideas like air, aka expressing it externally, they like to understand it within first, make sense out of it, come to practical conclusions, see how this works, then act on these things, and then communicate it, then act upon these things and make it work. This is why they understand or know how to manifest a lot better than the other three signs. But for the most part, when we talk about the left brain, this is where a lot of times that they clash with the air. But as far as the earth signs, this is where they clash with each other, because as far as Taurus has mastery over the five senses, which is touch, taste, smell, see, hear, because they could do that from a right and left brain. They could have good taste. They could feel you. They could sense with something up. You know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So they have it on, and then they can actually feel. So they have it on both ends. Now, as far as the clash between Taurus could be stubborn, could be fixated. So a lot of times they're more on their own thought, on their own practicality. They like to make sense. So a lot of times Taurus lead by example. So a lot of times a Taurus could be looked at as careless or chaotic or spontaneous to a Virgo, or slow to a Virgo. And when I say slow, not slow as in mental illness or things of that nature, but they think that a Taurus would be slow at looking at the details, slow at looking at the things that they're supposed to be looking at, instead of just going for what all the earth signs is going for anyway, which is earth type things. So, and then what would clash, and then the Taurus clash with the Virgo, because the Taurus is looking at it like, okay, you're not taking chances. You don't know how to take chances. Even though I'm fixated on what I'm doing, at least I'm doing it and not waiting around trying to gather details or be led by example and see someone else's success in that before I can experience it. You see what I'm saying? Because that's a downfall that Virgos may need to learn from Tauruses also too. A Virgo would know when something could work, but they'll sit there and procrastinate, and then someone else will take off from it. And then that's when the Virgo get comfortable in actually doing it. And then at that point, they just going to be looked at as a follower or looked at as someone copying, because they didn't have enough courage or enough conviction like a cardinal sign to jump out there and do it, regardless how other people will feel, because of that mutable energy blocks them from doing that. They have to actually sit back and see how it actually work first. And a lot of times that take too much time, or a lot of times that take too many stumbles and falls over doing other things. You see what I'm saying? Where you're looking at the details and you're like, okay, I got to do this. You're looking at the details, okay, I got to do this. Where the Taurus is just like, okay, let me stay fixated on this one thing. Fuck that detail, fuck that detail. Let me make sure this is built first. So then all that stumbling and falling that you did, we're getting that perfected from that detail as a Virgo. All the stumbling and falling you did, we're seeing up that right. The Taurus took all that energy and time and created a foundation that what they was doing. So the whole time you thought they was doing wrong and being careless, you was really just stumbling and falling and not being sure. You see what I'm saying? So this is where y'all clash at. But y'all can help each other, because y'all create, you know, the Taurus know how to can anchor the Virgo. So the Virgo don't be here, there, and being more of an asset to others than themselves, and being utilized as a crutch. The Taurus know how to anchor that mutable energy and be like, look, let's focus on this first. Put all your detail and intellectual skills on this one thing first. You see what I'm saying? But then the Virgo can help the Taurus at the same time by helping them transform a little bit and helping them look at other things and take the time to look at other things first. You know what I'm saying? Taurus don't like to do that, because once Taurus get fixated on something, they may take too much time. So a lot of times they like to, they just save face. A lot of times they like, man, it's not even worth that right now, because I know once I get into that, I'm gonna have to do this. They like to go to protocol. So, you know, that's where they can help each other. Virgos can help Tauruses look at the details a lot faster and come to a broad conclusion a lot faster. But then same way y'all track, that's where it clash. Now the whole thing, the reason why I brought up with the right and left brain, because from the right brain signs, which is fire and water, see the mutable get along better with the fixed. The mutable gets along better with the fixed. You see what I'm saying? And the cardinal kind of jumps in and out, play both roles. But the mutable and the fixed get along better when it comes to the water and fire signs and the right brain signs, because they're dealing more with feelings. So feelings, you know, the fixed and mutable can you know, anytime cardinal initiating creative or initiating is forceful, and it kind of can temper on someone's feelings a little bit. So that's why. But then when we talk about the left brain signs, this is more dealing with logic and more dealing with the external. So on the left brain, the mutable signs, I mean the fixed signs, get along better with the cardinal signs. See what I'm saying? So when we look at fire, water, right brain signs, fixed get along better with mutable. And then when we look at the left brain signs, air and earth signs, right, fixed get along better with the cardinal. See what I'm saying? Because it's not about feelings. It's about adding on and communicating and analyzing and setting feelings aside. So actually, when it comes to the earth and air, mutable, the mutable earth and air is the ones that bring feelings involved and shit. Because they make the fixed and the cardinal feel like they're being flip-floppy. So there's a clash of feelings there. But you get the point. But for the most part, as when we talk about Capricorn, now Capricorn initiates and creates new ways of how to think and be practical. So they draw the blueprint. So for the most part, Capricorns, they like to prophesize or they like to take action also. So they're a little bit like the Taurus. You know what I'm saying? They like to take, but they're a little faster. They kind of have the energy of Virgo and Taurus. So not only will Capricorn stay fixated on one thing and then jump and leap in that like the Taurus, but a Capricorn know how to add on the ideas of a lot of others. So this would put the Capricorn in a situation where they utilize their friends as employees, or they utilize the people, places, things around them to help build what they're actually trying to have a status on or be known for, or what they're seen for. So you know, this gives them the boss mentality that automatically creates by default creates a person who have Capricorn having a boss mentality, like by default. So for the most part, they would they clash with Taurus. Now the reason why they would clash with Taurus, well, this is about clash. Even though they get along better than the mutable here, we're talking about clashing. Now the reason why they clash with Taurus, let's start with Taurus, is because a lot of times Taurus may be too stubborn for the Capricorn. And when we talk about stubborn, let's talk about leader qualities. To be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. Taurus share a lot of energies with Aries, Scorpio, and even Aquarius, and even Sag. Taurus is not in the they're not in the play of following. You know what I'm saying? They're not in the role of following. They're not in that type of agreement. Tauruses is not going to follow. Matter of fact, Tauruses are more stubborn with themselves, and they're not going to follow anything unless it's something that they can gain material-wise. And they're still not following you emotionally. They're maybe manipulating you and make you think that they're a part of you just for the sake. But a Taurus, 9 times out of 10, they want to be the providers. This what makes them get along with Cancers. Tauruses wants to be the provider. A Taurus could get along with a Cancer before a Pisces and a Scorpio, because the Taurus rather be the center of provider, the one who gives. And the Taurus a lot of times really don't even like to receive. They just like to receive pleasures. They like to receive comfortability, and they feel comfortable with helping others. They feel comfortable with knowing everybody else is all right. They feel comfortable with knowing that whatever they have and what they did, as long as it's big enough that they can share, that's what makes them feel comfortable. The Taurus will feel uncomfortable when they don't have enough for themselves and others. If a Taurus just have enough for themselves, this makes them uncomfortable, and this makes them determined to actually make more so they can have for themselves and others. So Tauruses are not stingy. So you can't play that role. Taurus is not stingy at all. But if you're around a Taurus who is showing a stingy type of characteristics, it's because they only have what they have. And they're being hard on themselves because they're not in a circumstance or situation when they can have more, that they can not be stingy. So a Taurus won't even put themselves in a situation that they would have to give or anything of that nature if they don't have it. So they'll hide off or play the role of stay down till they come up. You see what I'm saying? But so they always have this, and just by them being in that nature, they create energies of other people coming to help them. Now, Capricorns is not on the same wavelength. Capricorns is looking at this like, okay, you're being too fixated, and a lot of times we need to switch up. You need to actually do something. And Tauruses is not a worker. Capricorns look at Tauruses as a worker because Tauruses is the foundation. They are the building. Capricorn they draw out the blueprint of how the building is constructed. Tauruses build it. They are the building block. But key word, you can't move a building though. but they are the builder. They're going to build it. So this is why you need the Taurus. And Virgos they looking at every piece rock, every crack, every sustainability, and every cautious level to make sure everything is right. And if it's not right, let's make sure we get some tar, some cement, and drill in the cracks so we don't have no leaks. That's Virgo. You know what I'm saying? They make sure everything is perfect, make sure everything is right, everything is sustainable. So the Capricorn clash with the Taurus because a lot of times the Taurus don't budge. A lot of times they make the Capricorn feel like they're not going to do as they say. And a lot of times, see, y'all clash because Capricorn can have a parenting energy. They have a lot of wisdom and knowledge. You see what I'm saying? A lot of their stars, a lot of the space and the location that Capricorn is at, a lot of the stars that's in that location now is a lot of the stars that the Sagittarius stars. So you know, Capricorns is influenced heavy by wisdom and knowledge. So a lot of times they is wise, but that wisdom can a lot of times feel like restriction. So to a Virgo, y'all will clash because it feel like restriction. You'll make the Virgo feel like you're restricting them from certain details, certain experiences, certain ways of seeing the things. And then to a Taurus, you'll make the Taurus feel like you're trying to control them. You're trying to make them an employee, and a Taurus is not a worker. So, see, the Taurus, a lot of times, the Taurus and the Capricorn is on the same page, separate from the Virgo a lot of times. Because, see, the Taurus know what the Capricorn doing. Is that the Taurus is not willing to play that game. It's not willing to play that role because the Taurus is trying to do it itself. So the stubborn energy came to come in where the Taurus is willing to take. It is willing to take no matter how much amount of time in order to prove that, okay, I still could get here too. I don't care if you got here. The Capricorn may have got there first. The Taurus won't care. See, the Capricorn may have utilized the group that they put together, the organization that they put together, the people that they're around. And you know, anytime you get added source, you can manifest things in your life a lot faster. So this is where the Taurus gets stubborn, because the Taurus the Taurus understand that from the Capricorn, but then this is the competition comes in. So y'all become competition with each other way faster than the mutable. Y'all become competition. See what I'm saying? But the competition is friendly competition because you can bounce off each other and y'all not dealing with the emotions. See what I'm saying? So that's how y'all friendship could build, and that's what separates y'all from the fire and water and right brain signs, because their mutables get along better with their cardinal. But see, the cardinal and the fixed get along a lot better because this is like friendly competition. Y'all love to be on the football field together, and if y'all females, y'all love to be in the same social group, or have the same job together, or the same beauty salon together, or be into the same things, because that's what's connecting y'all. It ain't to the mutable come in that and make y'all think like, oh, I can't trust this person. But for the most part, as the cardinal Earth, see, it's just, you know, the Taurus is stubborn. They don't want to use the Capricorn ways of getting from point A to point B. But it's competition because they want to prove to the Capricorn that they can still get there, no matter how long it took. So this is, y'all clash all the time. But where the Capricorn may clash with the Virgo is, a lot of times, now, the Virgo may not mind participating into Capricorn's game. But where y'all clash at is, see, the Capricorn gonna be looking at it like, yeah, I got somebody who's a part of me now. Or a lot of times you get the manipulative Capricorns. Yeah, I got this person working for me. I'm the boss. But your everyday Capricorn is the agreeable one. It's okay, yeah, I'm a part of something, or I made these people a part of something, or I made these people a part of what I got going on. So all of us are engines. So we all come together as an organ. Let's keep this thing running. And a lot of time, the Capricorn is the mind of the thing that got running. Now, see, it's all fun and games at first because the Virgo don't see it that way. So in the Capricorn head, it's looking at it like, okay, the Virgo is playing my game, or the Virgo is a part of this. But in the Virgo head, the Virgo likes to help. So the Virgo likes to see where things is wrong and see where things is right. And this is a level of experience that the Virgo can inhabit detail and criticism, be able to criticize and be able to take the criticism and have a level of experience to see how things work and to rise to the top. So here's where the clash happens, because see, they're both got the same goals, but they're not seeing it the same way. The Capricorn seeing it like, oh, this is a part of me. So it think that the Virgo is playing its game, But see, the Virgo just looking at it like, okay, this is something I can make a part of. So the clash start to happen where that now the Capricorn start feeling like the Virgo think they could do their job better than them, because the Virgo have all these details, all these criticisms, all these ideas of perfection. So it's like, so at first it was all fun and games. Until that Virgo start being what you should be, Capricorn. You know what I'm saying? The Virgo the one start controlling everything. Everybody start looking at the Virgo as the motherfucking boss. Cause even though it was your outlook, it's your plan, Capricorn, Virgo seen everything that's supposed to be done. And the Virgo is willing to work. So it was all fun and games at first to you as a Capricorn, because you sitting back thinking you just a boss. But once you start losing that respect and everybody going to that Virgo first, because the Virgo actually putting in the work as the boss, and they're not even seeing it as the boss. That's just what they do. That's just what they do. They work an asset. You know what I'm saying? Help out. You know, that's just what they do. Now, all that work puts them in a position as they end up being a boss. And as a Capricorn, you looked at as the laggy. And now you got to take your business back over and shit like that. So that's where y'all clash. Or y'all little household, or however y'all got, or y'all little relationship, or however y'all got things correlated. That's where y'all clash. So for the most part, you know what I'm saying, this is where y'all arguments come in. Because it was all fun and games until things started getting real. And then the only person who was building shit was the Virgo, because the Capricorn too busy being lazy and demanding. But that could only work for so long to the point that the people you demanded stopped listening to you. And that's when the Virgo took over, because the Virgo now have the credentials. They seen how you work, made it better. Now they a better you. And you looking at it like the Virgo copied, or the Virgo took. Nah, the Virgo just took over, made it better. They ain't copied, nigga. It was your fault, motherfucker. But that's where y'all gonna clash. So, you know, y'all need to get that straight. You know what I'm saying? And then you being a Capricorn trying to get off your lazy ass now and be like, okay, look, y'all need to remember I'm the boss. And you trying to do shit now, you find yourself having to do things in a Virgo way. Because they done took all your shit over and made it better. But that's where y'all clash. But then for the most part, you still know how to come up with the ideas. So then that's why the Virgo still needs you. You know what I'm saying? At the same time. But if the Virgo was around you to know how you work, the Virgo know how you think. So at that point, you might not even be needed. So that's where y'all clash. Now, you know, so to end this video off, this is how y'all all clashing. You know, the Taurus may clash with the Capricorn because the Taurus don't want to be bossed around, because it know what the Capricorn is doing. It just want to do it in its own way. Fixated way. Now then the Capricorn may look at the Taurus like, okay, nah, you're being too stubborn, and you're being too fixated, and you need to learn how to do things and switch up a little bit. So the Capricorn may have to come in ways that is not demanding, not boss-like. But see, that's where y'all clash. You know, the Capricorn may take a little bit more risk, or a little bit more example, like a little bit lead by example more, because the Taurus will stay fixated on one thing until it's safe enough to move, or that seem like that's a reliable thing to move on. Capricorns is not thinking about that. They'd jump into something. They'd jump into a boat that ain't got no leverage, like the boat they just left. So they got to learn how to, you know what I'm saying, swim all over again. But a lot of times they get lucky and find a boat that was better than the previous boat. And then that's where the Taurus may fall short. So that's where y'all clash. And then on the flip side, Capricorn and Virgos, y'all may clash because, you know, the Virgo may end up doing the better job than you, or y'all may clash because now y'all fighting for that position. And then that's how y'all clash. That's how y'all, and then you'll be looking at the Virgo like, okay, this is an asset, but now you're crossing your boundaries. See, because Capricorn ruled by Saturn, but Virgo is ruled by Earth and Venus. So they may get a little curious, and make the Capricorn think like, wait, you're stepping over your boundaries and limits. You're not the boss, you're this. You know what I'm saying? And then if on the flip side, the Virgo will feel like from the Capricorn to make the Virgo feel like, okay, you're not doing things right. You may have an idea, but this is better. You should do it this way and that. And then when the Capricorn when the Virgo is not allowed to do that, they start to worry. You know, so they start to criticize and detach. And then you need that asset. You know what I'm saying? But if they detach, you may fall short. If the Virgo feel the need to leave your ass because of all the emotional distress that you put them in by your dumbass ideas that they constantly keep trying to help your ass and get exhausted by helping your ass with. And that's where the Virgo may look at the Capricorn. And that's the clash. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.